Right. So today's Monday. Hey everybody, Brian Fadrosh of Brian Fadrosh Designs, better known as BFD, and thanks for joining me again on Building Steam. Today I kind of wanted to talk about something that I'm going to hopefully be able to do a lot more on this channel. So not only do Sheila and I want to be able to do tutorials and tips and tricks, but we also want to kind of talk about some of the other stuff that maybe you don't see on some of the other channels. So one of the things that I really like to really discuss and get into when I talk to my fellow makers is some of the stuff that's going on inside your head while it's all happening. And it occurred to me this morning, as it being a Monday, and I probably shouldn't have hit my head that hard, but I did. Is this is a great opportunity to be able to talk about something that I not only struggle with, but I think a lot of makers struggle with, and we really obviously don't talk about it all that much. So first, let's talk about why I don't like Mondays. I really don't like Mondays for two reasons. The first reason being Monday means my weekend is over. And if my weekend is over, that means I spend less time in here. I spend less time in my shop. That's not to say that I don't get into the shop during the week. I obviously do. I'm here now. And I'm going to explain why that's happening now, where that wasn't happening a couple months ago. But first and foremost is Mondays are horrible because my weekend's over and I don't get to do what I love so much. The other reason why Mondays are really hard for me is simply because it gives me a sense of constantly always running against a clock, because I have all of those hours during the week that I have to be at my full-time job. My full-time job is very challenging and it is an incredibly cerebral job. I am a human resource manager. Which in a lot of respects has absolutely nothing to do with this sort of thing, which is I think is amazing, because it really does give me that balance. But I'm always constantly feeling like I'm running against the clock, because when I get home from work, as much as I would rather not, work is still in the back of my head. And that's going to be the case for a lot of makers who have a full-time job. It's finding, we talk in the HR business about work-life balance all the time. And I think it's important that we talk about work-life making balance, because it's important to be able to balance those things out. And a couple months ago, I didn't have that balance. A couple months ago, I really got knocked down hard because my job was going crazy. I had a million things going on, and everything else that I was doing, in addition to being a cosplayer and a maker, being a producer on a steampunk event, being a husband, being a father, all of that started getting to me, and I started feeling like I didn't have any time at all. And I felt like I didn't have the time for the things that I wanted to do as well as the things that I love to do. And I wanted to be able to find that time. And of course, as most people do, in my position, we start figuring out, how do you add hours to the day? Because you can't, because there's always only going to be 24 hours to a day. That doesn't change. And there's an old adage that you can't change people, you can only change the way you react to them. And I'm really beginning to learn the very same thing about time management, because you can't change time. Now granted, in the steampunk world, we would love to be able to do that, and we sometimes think we can, but you really can't. But you can change the way you react to it. So I started taking a couple steps that really helped me start finding that work-life making balance. And one of those things that I did, and it's so silly, and it's something from my normal day job that I do, but it worked really well, is I started scheduling my day. Now, I didn't get crazy, and there are some self-help advice YouTube channels that I watch, and I'll actually put the links down below to those because I think they're amazing. And they have some really good, solid advice. I didn't go overboard with it, but I literally did things like, on my schedule, it says, you wake up at this time. This time block is for you to take a shower, brush your teeth, and get dressed and go to work. This is what time you leave for work. This is what time you start work. This is what time you leave work. And then what I started doing is I plotted out all those hours. And when I obviously can't do anything in that time frame, but then I started carrying that through. So then I started saying, well, I leave work here. It takes me this long to get home. So from this time, for 30 minutes, when I first get home, that's my opportunity to decompress from my day job, get my clothes changed, do the dishes, feed the dogs, take care of mundane things, and just kind of depress and just kind of, you know, get resituated, and then take 30 minutes and go down to the shop and do something. Whether that be cleaning, organizing, working on infrastructure, cutting foam, do something for 30 minutes in the shop. And then I started expanding that. So I went from 30 minutes to an hour, and then from an hour to 2 hours. And by doing it on a schedule, what that does is that literally lets it all lay out in front of you, and you go, holy crap, I do have all this time. Now, granted, I'm in the position now where I have to redo that whole schedule because we're talking about doing a YouTube channel. I want to start working out again. So I need to find those bits of time to make it all work. But having that schedule in front of me was a huge benefit. Do I follow it every day? No. No. There are instances where I don't follow it at all. And that's okay. And that's the other part of it. Don't beat yourself up over it if you don't do it all the time at first. It takes time. Habits take time to form. And that's the second thing I wanted to talk about. I mentioned it on a streamcast that I was doing over the weekend for a Steampunk event for COGS, which was awesome. We had a great time doing it. But I talked about an app called Habitica. And what Habitica is it is an app for your phone. And what it does is it helps you start creating habits. Everybody knows about bad habits. Good habits work the same exact way as bad habits. The more you do a good habit, the more successful you are at repeating that. Again, not going to happen overnight. Not a quick fix, not a one-size-fits-all fix for anybody. But these are things that worked for me. Because one of the things that I think is always important that we talk about, and one of the things that I will always want to convey, especially through these videos, whether it be through tutorials or tips and tricks or, just conversations like this, making is supposed to be fun. You should enjoy this. And in order to enjoy this, constantly having that oppressive sense of time hanging over your shoulders is always going to be difficult. That is always going to make it hard for this to be fun. Because you're going to feel like you have to rush when you know you shouldn't. It's going to make you feel like you don't get to do it enough. But instead of dwelling on the fact that you may not necessarily get to do it as much as you want, dwell on the fact that when you are doing it, that you're enjoying the time that you're doing. I think that's important. I think there needs to be a certain amount of joy in what we do. There's always joy when you finish a project. And you get to put it on, you get to go to the convention, get pictures taken, and all that good stuff. And yeah, there's joy in that. There's joy in going to conventions and seeing other people's builds and sitting there and talking about, oh, how did you do that? And what did you do this out of? And how did you make that? There's all that joy, but that's all way at the end of it. That all happens way at the end. You should have joy from start to finish. Will there be frustrations? Absolutely. Will there be difficult times? Absolutely. But enjoy it. But try to find that happy balance. Find that work-life making balance. I think it's something that I think a lot of people struggle with. Also, remember that if you are a maker and you have a full-time job, that does not mean you are a hobbyist. I am way too obsessive over this stuff to say I'm a hobbyist. That ain't a hobby. It needs to get done. Speaking of which, I should probably get off of here and clean my shop, update my Habitica app, reset my schedule. And I think I'm going to do that. But I just kind of wanted to share that with you guys. Hopefully you learned something a little bit. Maybe it gives you something to think about. Maybe it helps point you in the right direction to be able to find that happy work-life making balance. If you have any suggestions or things that have worked for you yourself, drop them down in the comments below. We got a couple things brewing as far as additional videos. There's going to be some upgrades. We're actually getting a logo. Kind of excited about it. So hopefully that'll be coming soon. But I wanted to share that and just kind of get that off my chest and kind of put it out there and have you guys hear it and see what you thought. So let me know what you thought in the comments. And as always, be happy, enjoy, love life. That's a stupid ending. I got to come up with a really good ending because that's not it. Start talking to see if it picks you up.
Does it pick me up?
I think it does. It looks like it does.
Did it pick me up?
It looks like it did.
Pick me up, baby.